I'm just doing my best.
Morty, what are you doing to me?
In the opening scene, a blackout drunk Rick wakes up Morty and brings him on a journey in his newly built flying vehicle.
Ow, you're tugging me too hard.
Having made a neutrino bomb, Rick offers to destroy humanity and allow Morty and his crush Jessica to serve as the new Adam and Eve. After Morty forces Rick to land the vehicle, Rick says it was all a test to get Morty to act more assertive before passing out, leaving Morty to defuse the bomb.
Just an elaborate test to make you more assertive.
It was?
Sure, why not?
The following day, Morty's parents, Jerry and Beth Smith, believing Rick, who has been living with the Smith family for the past year after having abandoned his adult daughter Beth for the last 20 years, to be a bad influence on Morty, contemplate having Rick put in a nursing home, while Rick takes Morty out of school on an adventure to another dimension, Dimension 35C, which has the perfect conditions for growing mega trees, which bear mega fruit holding mega seeds, which Rick requires for his research. To get past intergalactic customs, Morty hides the megatree seeds in his rectum, but when their cover is blown, Rick and Morty escape while engaging in a shootout with bureaucratic alien insects.
Oh, nice, Morty! The student becomes the teacher!
My leg is shut up! Glenn's bleeding to death!
Meanwhile, after being called into school in response to Morty's absence, Jerry and Beth discover that Morty has missed a semester of school in the time that he has spent on adventures with Rick, for a total of 7 hours attended over a 2-month period, Rick having taken him out of school to go on adventures, and decide to begin moving Rick's possessions from their garage into a moving van to go to a nursing home. As Rick and Morty return, Rick begins to argue with Jerry and Beth about the merits of taking Morty on adventures with him, before having him state the square root of pi and the first law of thermodynamics, both of which he immediately and correctly recites, both to his own and his parents' shock. Rick tells Jerry and Beth that later in his own life, Morty will be doing amazing things as a result of their adventures, satisfying them both as they leave to reconnect. After Morty comments on his surprise intelligence, Rick reveals that his knowledge was as a result of the mega seeds he had in his rectum, having planned the adventure to convince Jerry and Beth to allow them to go on further adventures, and that the seeds' after effects will leaving him writhing on the floor for the next few hours. As Morty begins writhing, Rick informs his grandson that they will need to go back and get more, before going into a nonsensical rant that they will be going on lots of more crazy adventures, promising Rick and Morty forever and ever, 100 years Rick and Morty.
www.100timesrickandmorty.com.
Morty's dog Snuffles angers Jerry by continually urinating on the carpet. Upset, Jerry asks Rick for a device that could make Snuffles smarter. Rick makes the device, and it makes Snuffles smart enough for him to be able to do things like a normal human, like going to the bathroom. Meanwhile, Rick plans to enter the dreams of Morty's math teacher, Mr. Goldenfold, in order for him to increase Morty's grades, thus letting Morty adventure with Rick more often. The two enter Goldenfold's dream. The dream takes place on a plane, where Rick pretends to be an Islamic terrorist threatening to hijack and 9/11 the plane if Goldenfold does not give Morty better grades, but Goldenfold decides to fight back and pulls out 2 matching guns. Rick realizes that Goldenfold has more control over his dreams than he had anticipated, and also reveals that if they die in the dream, they die in real life. Meanwhile, Snuffles attempts to communicate with his owners verbally, but is unable. He opens the battery compartment on the helmet and realizes that it can be boosted with additional batteries. Still stuck in the dream, Rick tries to negotiate with Goldenfold using his idol, Mrs. Pancakes, as a human shield. Instead, chaos descends on the plane. The doors to the plane are opened, and everyone gets blown out. Mrs. Pancakes finds a parachute and opens it, while Goldenfold has already landed the plane. Rick and Morty grab onto Pancakes, but Goldenfold has created a device to pluck Pancakes out of the sky and leave Rick and Morty to fall in a pool of lava. The two then incept themselves into Pancake's dreams to slow time down. Pancakes' dreams are of an intergalactic sex club and S&M dungeon filled with dominatrices. A lingerie-clad Summer, representing Mr. Goldenfold's deeply repressed sexual attraction to her, flirts with the two, causing them to panic and stand out. A centaur guard threatens to kill them, and they venture into the centaur's dream, where the three have to run away from a legally safe knockoff of Freddy Krueger, named Scary Terry.
I'm Scary Terry. You can run, but you can't hide, bitch.
Meanwhile, Snuffles has created a robotic arm and a speaker that he uses to grab things and communicate, albeit in broken English. Snuffles' view on life changes after watching a TV special about dogs being domesticated and being forced into subservience. Still seeking an escape, Rick and Morty travel into a little girl's dream to escape Scary Terry. After returning to what looks like the same dream, the two also find out that Terry can travel across dreams. After building himself a powerful robotic suit, Snuffles changes his name to Snowball and assumes dominance over the household. While in a new dream, Rick and Morty are still being chased by Terry. The two follow him back into his house and enter his dreams. They see that he is fearful of being a failure in his job and save him from being embarrassed in school. In return, he helps them return to reality and in the process convince Goldenfold to raise Morty's grades.
Holy crap! God damn!
Back in the regular world, they find that Snowball has led an army of hyper-intelligent dogs to the verge of global domination over humanity. Jerry tries to stop them by urinating on their weapons like a dog, which only causes them to get captured. Snowball allows Morty to live by his side while the rest of the world is enslaved at the whim of the dogs. While the dogs are subjecting the humans to similar practices that the humans subjected the dogs to, Morty lives in luxury. After what Morty perceives to be a year, Rick reappears and reveals to him that the two are actually in Snowball's dream. Rick gives Morty kidney failure, making Snowball care for Morty's health. Snowball comes out of his dream and realizes that oppressing humans brings heartbreak and cruelty. Snowball and the dogs change their plan and decide instead to inhabit a world of their own.
With a society of intelligent dogs. Call me Snuffles, Morty. And I'm going to miss you too. Very much.
Jerry?
Hi
In the
guys,
post-credits
I'm your new
scene,
teacher for Scary
the old
class.
teacher
My
of
name
Scary
is
Terry's
Mr.
class has been
Johnson.
replaced
Your
by
previous
Scary
teacher was
Glenn,
having you work
a hippie
on
drum player.
Fundamentals of fear,
Rick and
which
Scary
is-
Terry are sitting as his students, smoking marijuana, satisfied with this change.